Forge from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good evening, my friends and fellow YouTubing viewers of West Ham Persuasions. Welcome to Forge from Iron. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share the stream to your social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. We are here tonight to discuss Matchday 18 of 38. Leeds United versus our very own West Ham United tomorrow evening at Elland Road. Duke, this is a must-win game. I don't even think a draw's enough, is it? Really?
For us or for him?
Both.
Well, listen. I think a draw will be fine for him. I think a defeat will be fine for him. Everything that I'm being led to understand is he'll still be in a job. And I just can't, Rob. Nothing but a win is good enough for West Ham United, regardless of what goes on with Moyes, regardless of what goes on behind the scenes. It's a no-brainer, Rob. We don't win this, and we are up. Well, listen, we're currently up shit creek,
mm-hmm.
and we're managing to get by with a tennis racket.
Tennis racket without strings as well.
No, it's got strings.
Yeah.
But they're twanging. They are twanging one by one. And I'm telling you now, I'm not sticking my hands in the Welpers paddle. I'm letting you know this right now. I am not.
You even put on like a marigold and...
Listen, I remember watching Band of Gold when I was, I saw what he enjoyed with their marigolds, and it weren't swimming in shit. It's a massive game. It's a relegation 6-pointer.
I agree.
There's no two ways about it. It's a relegation 6-pointer. It's so our arseholes, Rob, on the line, really, because at the end of the day, there's nothing else that's going to be able to come out of this if we lose or draw. Nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
Nothing. We have to win this. This is we are getting down to the finest of fine margins where all of this has to stop and changes have to be made. We are literally down to this now. And that's the scary part.
Yeah. Well, before we get into team lineups and or what I predict to be team lineups and my explanations for my thought process in this particular one, just a couple of things we'll go through. These are the officials at Elland Road tomorrow. The referee is David Coote, who I believe was the VAR in the game against Brentford the other night from memory. His assistants will be Nick Hopton and Timothy Wood. The fourth official will be Peter Banks. The VAR will be Paul Tierney, and his assistant will be Dan Robathan. So, just going to turn our attention just real quickly before we sort of get into it, Duke. Hammers89, hope you are well, my friend. And he's got 2 words. Moyes out. I struggle to argue with that. Yeah. Hi, Rebecca. I hope you're well. Hammer89 is I've heard something about his comments. I've not read them myself, so I don't know the context of his comments and the questions that are asked. So I can't really comment on it too much. I haven't had a chance to sort of gen up on it. Do you know what that's all about, Duke?
I saw something. He's made some comments, but the problem is he's still failing to acknowledge that for the most part he's the problem. He's too confident. He's too confident for my liking. I need to put this out there. He is far too confident. He is delusional. He's delusional. I just don't get it. I don't get how a man who he's literally hanging on by a very, very, very frayed foreskin, that he can be so confident that he is literally down to the last. He's down to the last turn, Rob. He's got to be like, you know what? In fact, he's coming over the starting points. If we put it into an analogy of like motor racing, he's coming back over the starting grid points before he gets to the checkered flag. This is how close he is down that home stretch to it being the end. He's coming over the starting positions, and he doesn't have long left. He's
running out of road. Well, Alexander says, get Moyes out ASAP. Sharky, hope you are well. Hammer89 says, Leicester losing again. Would you take Rodgers if we lose? Yeah, I think I would, because I think fundamentally, Hammer89, I think that the football would be more pleasing on the eye. And even if we were getting beat, I think if we were getting beaten, at least the crumb of comfort we would have would be entertaining football. Because let's be completely honest, at the minute we're getting dire football and we're getting beat. So I guess it would be a step up. That's my opinion. I think that Rodgers is a fantastic manager. I think that if you look at his record at Leicester, he's won the FA Cup. He's qualified for Europe a couple of times. I think he had 2 fifth place finishes from memory. I think he's done really well there, to be perfectly honest. I wouldn't turn my nose up at Brendan Rodgers. How about you, Duke?
Yeah, but then we're talking about another manager sacked in the Premier League that we're willing to take on this season. We did the video the other day, which gained quite a bit of traction, actually, looking at the comments and stuff. Sadly, not everyone watched the video, so they didn't have a clue what they were commenting on. But hey-ho.
Sometimes that happens.
It does. For me, there's an issue with taking a manager that's been sacked in the Premier League for failing in the last 6 months. Yeah. There's the issue for me. That's where my issue lies, is because you're kind of replacing one with another. You know, this guy's already failed once this season, so we're going to give him another go. I don't enjoy that. I don't think that's the right way to go. This is what we said about Hasenhüttl. So,
yeah, but I guess the difference between Moyes and Rodgers, in fairness, is that Moyes spent £180 million in the summer, whereas Leicester were kicking players out the door left, right, and centre. And I think it was only at the last knockings that he actually made a signing. So,
but I mean, listen, they've still got some good players there.
yeah.
And he's still not getting the best out of those good players. So we're taking a manager who currently isn't getting the best out of the players that we have, regardless of what we spend. He's still not getting the best out of these players. And we're going to bring in a player who wasn't getting the best out of his own very good players, James. Madison, right, he's been injured. Harvey Barnes, Yuri Tielemans.
Yeah, but he's out the door, same as Deck.
Right, yeah, but they're still, well, for the most part, putting in performances. So it's that you're replacing one not getting the best out of his players with another one not getting the best out of his players. It just, for me, as I said on the other video, young, innovative, looks at the game a different way. That's where I'd be, but we're not here to talk about that.
No. Just before we go on, I'll just finish with this one. Alexander 52. I hear what you're saying, mate, but I can't ever go down that route. Support the team, not the regime. That's me. If we lose, I'm not entirely sure that Moyes is gone, even if we lose tomorrow, unless we get absolutely humped. I think if we lose it 1-0, 2-1, I think he'll go. He's got the Brentford game in the cup, I think. Whether I think that's right or wrong is another matter. But I can't ever hope my team gets beat just so that a manager gets shifted out the way. I know some people do, and look, each to their own, but I just can't. But
yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and it can't work that way. Otherwise, we would be up shit creek without a paddle. And let's not pretend that we can afford to be up shit creek without a paddle, because we can't.
Yep.
So we have to win. We have to win. Just quickly on Sharky's comment now, Sharky, I actually created it as a background for my Facebook posts for my pub. I've actually got one that actually has. In fact, Rob, I think we have it in the branding. Do we? Do we have it? Yeah, there it is. Look at this. There it is. I actually created it, Sharky, as a wallpaper for mobile phones. And yeah, if you want it, let me know. I'll send it to you. Text message me on Twitter or Facebook, and I'll send it over to you. I actually use it as a Facebook posts for my pub when I do the football ones. So if you like it, yeah, send it to me. I'll or send me a message and I'll send it over to you. Sorry, Rob. Carry on.
that's all right, mate. No problem. Right. So, right. What you're about to see, ladies and gentlemen, is what I suspect David Moyes will go with. It ain't what I would pick. I'm pretty convinced that when you see it, it ain't what Duke would pick either.
No.
But I suspect this is what David Moyes is going to go with. So pin your logos back, ladies and gentlemen, and tell me what you think. Right, yeah, so that's what I think he's going to go with, Duke. I don't think that, although they came in for a lot of criticism in the last couple of games, I don't think he's dropping Fabianski, and I don't think he's dropping Cresswell. I don't actually think Fabianski had a bad game against Brentford. It was the Arsenal game that I think he made a bad rick, and then he retained his place for the Brentford game. Now, I think we can both agree that Cresswell made a bit of a rick in the Brentford game, but I don't see that that's going to be enough for him to instantly be dropped. So I think he retains his place, but I got a sneaking suspicion that Naya Fagerd will come in at left centre-back, which means Ogbonna drops out, and he will be partnered by Craig Dawson. Vladimir Kufau, I suspect, will be at right-back. I also suspect that there's going to be a change in shape, back to the tried and tested, 4-2-3-1, because I think that Leeds are going to go 4-2-3-1, so I think we're going to match them up, essentially. So it'll be Declan Rice with the armband, but I got a sneaking suspicion, yes, you're going to see Thomas Souček coming back alongside Declan Rice, rightly or wrongly. I've just got a funny feeling that Moyes is going to go away game, hostile atmosphere, under the lights, Leeds United. We're possibly going to take a little bit of an aerial sort of like battle, and I think that's where Thomas Souček comes into play. However, if you look, you'll also notice that I think he may well put on the bench Lucas Paquetá. I got a sneaking suspicion he's going to be benched, and it's going to be Pablo Fornals coming in for his energy, his getting around the park, covering every blade of grass. Saeed Benrahma on the left, Jared Bowen on the right, and I've ummed and ahed about this, but I think it will be Gianluca Scamacca as the focal point up top. But Duke, what do you think that is what Moyes is going to go with, or and if so, where do you agree? Where do you disagree with him?
I don't agree with him, Rob. I don't agree with the format. Look, right.
But you think do you think he's going to play that?
Yeah, of course I do. It doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter. And I said this before, Rob. Right? I said it before. It doesn't matter what that looks like tomorrow. It does not matter what happens tomorrow with regards to what you've got in front of me, right? He could play 6-3-1 for all I care. He could play 1-3-6 for all I care. He could play. He could play 3-3-4, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-2-4, 2-4-4. It doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Your lineups, your personnel, whatever. It does not matter, right?
You're probably
right.
He
sends them out tactically to drop to the halfway line, right? If he sends them out tactically that when we concede possession, we aim to do this shit. If we concede possession and we aim to do this shit, if we concede possession and we allow them to come to that 40.3 metre line on the left-hand side, it doesn't matter what formation, what personnel he plays, it makes no fucking difference. Right? Tactically is where the problem is. Listen, right? We know, Rob, that last season, up until January, for the most part, the season before and the season before, we pressed high enough that the second they walked into our half, we put the pressure on. They could have
possibly even before.
They could have the ball in there. After the second they crossed the halfway line, bang, we were in there, we were at them, right? We did that for 2.5 seasons, right? For 2.5 seasons, Thomas Souček was the one arriving late rather than trying to be the holding player, right? And Declan Rice held. The fact that on Friday against Arsenal.
No, that was Wednesday.
Sorry, against Brentford.
Friday was Brentford.
Against Brentford on Friday. He turned around and he went to Lucas Paquetá and said, "You're the holding fucking defender. You're the protector." What? So you swapped out Souček, a man who can't pass, for Lucas Paquetá, who should be the playmaker, the floating. I don't
think he was defensive though, Duke. Not in the true sense of the word.
he was the one that was holding more than Declan Rice, and Declan Rice was the one bombing on. He gave Declan Rice the freedom and told Paqueta to sit and hold. That's what he did. That was the idea. Now, if you're going to do that, okay, you're changing nothing. You're taking one player who can't play as a holding defensive midfielder and cannot pass the ball for another player who can't play as a holding defensive midfielder who should be able to pass the ball, granted, but he passes more, shall we say, directly, and they're the dangerous passes. He can't do that from an hour off. He can't find those players that he should be finding, right? Nothing changes, Rob, unless he changes things tactically. Fuck your formation, I don't care. Fuck your personnel, I don't care, right? It doesn't come down to who plays where and in what formation. It comes down to what they're told tactically to do once we concede possession,
Agreed.
right? And that's all it boils down to. So for me, it really doesn't matter what that picture looks like on screen. And I know you spend a lot of time doing it, and I'm appreciative for you spending a lot of time doing it. But
I won't bother now.
for me, no, it's Moyes that you want to have a word with, mate. Because for
I
me,
agree.
it really doesn't matter what formation and how rest will go about it, because there is no point. If
I
all he's
agree. I
gonna
think it's entirely an attitude. I think it's entirely a tactical problem, because it's largely the same players that have got us 6th and 7th in consecutive seasons in the Premier League. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. I noticed it in the first game this season that there was a massive difference in our intensity, in our eagerness to win the ball back as high up the pitch as possible. That first game against Man City, I'm sitting there and I'm watching. They're just letting players advance at will.
Yep.
No engagement, no press, nothing really, until they're sort of like basically on the edge of our penalty box. And I'm sitting there going, this is a bit weird. And like I say, everybody said at the time, "Oh, Rob, it's because it was hot. It was Man City," and I didn't buy that for a second. As you know, I said to you, I'm like, no, I don't like this. Something's not right. And here we are, 17 games later, and that pattern has been quite. It's repeated over the course of this season, and I don't understand why. Look, I can understand David Moyes probably went into this season with the thought that I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to try and become go from the counter-attacking team that we've been up to this point, where we relinquish possession, but we will be dogged, we'll be determined, we'll be buzzing around, causing a problem. We'll win the ball. We'll have about 30% of the possession. That's absolutely fine. But when we get the ball, we're going to break at pace. We're going to break accurately. We're going to carve out multiple opportunities. We're going to get the goalkeeper working. We're going to get goals. And when our set piece delivery, we're going to get dividends off of the back of that. Well, we've gone away from being that counter-attacking team. We've gone to being this slightly more possession-based team, and it hasn't worked for whatever reason, whether it's because the players that he's purchased and he's trying to mesh into the team that was already there the previous couple of seasons, and it just isn't working. So
where is this, Alex? Sorry, this article that Alex has just mentioned
I
here.
think it was in the Guardian. He's got it in the previous comment. Jacob
Steinberg.
Steinberg.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to look that up, because I really wasn't aware of that. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, cheers, Alex. But I just sort of I think to myself, look, if you're now 18 Premier League games in, and in the previous 17 by and large, what you've tried to do, results-wise, whatever you think about, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, results-wise, it hasn't worked. You can't argue that point. Results-wise, it patently has failed. So, go back to what you did before. Go back to what worked. What my concern is, Duke, and this is the elephant in the room, is it now that David Moyes for whatever reason, and we sort of have spoken about the Alex Krauss situation that would have had a negative impact on Souček and Kufal. And once you get sort of like situations like that occurring, I don't know whether the situation with Issa Diop might have pissed off a few of the French-speaking players that we've got in the squad that knew Issa Diop and all the rest of it, or any other situation that you could reference. Is it now that the relationship between certain players and David Moyes, the manager, has become so fractured that there is no going back?
You know what? It's really difficult, Rob.
Agree with that, West Ham fan.
Right now, we're sitting on a cusp of something so bad and so horrific for this club, i.e., relegation would be fucking disastrous. Like fucking disastrous. Let's not mess around. It's we're in a situation where if we don't get this fixed, be that we rectify this hole in the dressing room, this rift, this I don't know. If we don't fix this rift and Moyes doesn't understand where he's going wrong on the pitch, i.e., we need to press higher. We need to press. We need to stop this this mess around where we've got players in wrong positions, got players in the wrong setup.
James.
Evening, James. There's an issue with that. Unless we fix that, nothing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We need to fix the issues at hand now. If by going by what Alex Chapman has said in the chat about the way that Steinberg eviscerates Moyes, says that the the players are against him, that Kretinsky wants him gone, rada, then what is going to happen? Nothing.
Indeed.
You know, we're going to find ourselves relegated, and as I've already mentioned earlier, the not earlier today, but earlier videos, the parachute payments have stopped.
I don't think that has actually. I think that they have. Someone turned around and said that hasn't been ratified.
It was.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, until we get all this could be horrific. This could be disastrous for the club if we go down.
Enrique'd be an interesting one. Luis Enrique. I have my doubts that he'd come. I again, for the same reasons that I've said about Tuchel and Poch, that I think these are managers that operate Champions League club levels. We're not on that level. I'm not entirely convinced he comes unless we give the geezer an absolute bucket load of cash to do it and an absolute war chest for him to go out and do business. And I'm not entirely convinced we've got it. The Celtic bloke, Ange Postecoglou, possibly. So, as long as we don't get Lampard, says Miss Hammerette, I wouldn't be shocked if it happens one day. I really wouldn't. But he's currently employed at Everton, so I don't see. We discussed this, haven't we, Duke? He's not going after. They're not going after a manager that's currently employed because it's gonna cost them money. So.
For the next few hours, Rob. Let's not mess around.
Anyway, I'll also show you guys, just for completeness, why not, what I suspect will be the Leeds team that we will be facing tomorrow at Elland Road. So I think it will. I mean, they had a good result the other night against Newcastle. They held them to a draw, and I don't think he's going to change an awful lot. So I think he's going to go with Meslier in goal. And again, as I say, I think he'll go 4-2-3-1. I think it'll be a back four from left to right of Struijk, Koch. No laughing at the back. That's his name. Cooper, the captain, and Christensen will be the right back. The double pivot will be Roca and Tyler Adams, who, I don't know about you, Duke, watching him at the World Cup, I thought he looked a bang tidy player. Then left will be Gnonto, right will be Somerville, the number 10 will be Aronson, and up top will be Rodrigo. Now, who's the? Is there anyone there that you look at and go, "Oh shit, that I want to keep an eye on him because they're the danger man." I know who I'm looking at.
I mean, Rodrigo is he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Aronson, I quite like. Massilia, mate, is absolutely outstanding goalkeeper. He
Isn't
made
he just?
banging stops the other day. And old 4 foot nothing Noto out there on the.
I like him. He's
He-
got a little bit of something about him. He's got a little bit of the devil in him.
He's an irritable little fucking gnat that I'd love to. I came up against people like him a few times on the pitch, and that they ended up getting absolutely fucking clattered because he's such a little shit.
Craig
I saw
Bellamy.
him the other day. Who was it against? Someone got fouled and he got right up in their face. And I was like, what's it got to fucking do with you, you little prick? Fuck off. Like, oh, mate, I'm surprised he didn't get lucky.
Was that the City game?
That was it, yeah. Grealish, he got right up in Grealish's face,
Yeah.
and Grealish is like, what? Well, as best he could, he was like looking down at him, going, "What are you actually doing? Fuck off, Muppet!" And I loved it. I loved it. I mean, listen, they're a good side. They're and they are. I mean, it doesn't help that they've got Ted Lasso in charge. It's what happens when you got a Yank who ain't got a fucking clue. Who's the other one that came over?
Not Bob Bradley.
That
The
was
one
it.
that was at Swansea.
Swansea. Absolute fucking clueless.
Kept referring to a penalty kick as a PK. I'm like, what?
PK, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Well, listen, we might end up with this situation where we end up having 4, Rob. I mean, and then we have a north and south divide, and then maybe even an east and west divide if old Bowley at Chelsea has his own way.
Yeah, he is, James. Yeah, I like him. He's a good player.
Mate, listen. Again, it doesn't matter what formation they pick. Doesn't matter what lineup they pick. If we allow them to dominate possession and stand on our toes before we put a tackle in, i.e., all the way down on it, we allow them to get to here, 40.3 metres away from goal before we engage. What do we think is going to happen? What am I doing? What's happening?
If we allow that, we're getting our asses handed to us on a plate, mate.
All
That's
day
what's
long.
happening.
I mean, listen, you had a Gerd and Dawson, didn't you, as our centre backs? Did I see that? I saw that.
I
right.
did, yes.
Agaird's pace will be invaluable tomorrow because they will try and get in behind. They will try and be absolute nuisances. But we need to defend right where Rocker and Adams are on that graphic right there. We need to defend, preferably, but I'll take halfway. The second they walk into our half, bang, there's a challenge. The second that they walk into our half, bang, we're there. We're forcing them backwards. Get out of our half, you bastards. And basically defend what is ours. This half is ours. Fuck off. If we don't do that and we go, come on in.
Help yourself.
Please, come and make yourself at home. We will get absolutely battered, mate. And it's... it's scary times, Rob. That's all I got.
What would be if I'm going to put Duke in a little bit of role play, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh,
no, not like that. Not doctors and nurses. Not tonight. You're Dave. No, you're not David Moyes. David Moyes has been given his P45 and given a cheery fuckety bye out of the door, and they've appointed Duke from the Lewisham Tavern in time for the game tomorrow night. How do you line up?
Oosh! Have it.
Oh, you weren't mucking around, were you?
Have it.
Okay, so let's talk
And
me
that's
through it.
Ariola in goal.
I was going to say, talk me through it.
Well, what I've said in every video for the last
Well, you can't
2 weeks.
you can't have Cornet because he's missing.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Of course it
Doesn't
matters.
matter.
You can't put an injured player on the pitch.
No, what I mean is your personnel can change. Your personnel is
Right.
interchangeable, Rob. So you can take Cornet out of there, replace him with Benrahma, and you can put Lanzini or Fornells in that role where Benrahma is.
Okay.
Yeah. These are all interchangeable because if you take a look at what we've got at left and right back, you've got Ashby and Johnson. Now you can take Johnson and you can put Emerson. You can take Johnson, you can put Cresswell. You can take Ashby, you can put Soufal or even Kera. Even Johnson in there. It makes no difference, right? But tactically, what this helps with is you have Cornet or whoever, but for bollocks sakes, it's Cornet for now. So you've got Cornet, Skamaka, Bowen. Left back, one of your two centre backs and the right back. You tell those three, the second that they get within 40.3 metres of their own box, i.e. once they get past where the words Paqueta and Benrahma are in their own half, Skamaka takes the centre back, Cornet takes the right back, Bowen takes the left back, and Paqueta or Benrahma and another takes the other centre back, right? Then what you do is you say to Paqueta and Benrahma alongside Rice, you take their two CDMs, right? You take their two CDMs, right? And then you say to your back four, you pick up what's left. Because you know what happens then when you tell them to pick up what's left? They have to go long. And when they go long, they lose possession. We can win the ball in the air and we then recycle and we start the attack. And because they are pressed so far back, i.e. 40.3 metres away from their goal, we're on the high attack already. So a simple pass from someone like Declan Rice or Lucas Paqueta or even Craig Dawson, if he's in at centre-back instead of Kera, right? We know he's got a raking 60, 70-yard pass on him. All of a sudden, we're on the front foot. We're attacking. We're within 10, 15 yards of their box. And they're thinking, shit. Normally like we do. Shit, they're 10 yards away from our box. Right?
Turn the tables.
Right, and that's what needs to happen, Rob. This frustration lies. This is where more, probably not just my frustration, yours and many others, is that we defend too deep. And we allow them to get in and attack us. Now we have to defend higher. I'm happy if he starts at the halfway line, you know, but I just don't see it, Rob. He's set in his ways. You know, this whole Declan Rice scenario, this situation where, you know, we're looking at the fact that he's allowing Declan Rice to be the holder. The attacking player. Yeah. You know, you've got we're kind of forced into having Souček because he doesn't want to let Souček not play. I just don't get it. I just don't get want to. But that's like so. If that was me, that'd be my tactical lineup. That'd be how I play. And as you know, as was mentioned earlier, I listen. I wasn't expecting David Moyes to get home from work, jump in the bath with his tablet, and scroll through, you know, Fultram Iron and Hammer's chat and West Ham Network and West Ham Fan TV. I don't expect that any of the current players watch, watch what we do. I don't expect it to happen, and that's just because. What does it matter? The old players watch. I know the old players watch. I've spoken to an old player.
Ben Johnson, Declan Rice. We know watch
You know,
YouTube channels. They've admitted it.
Well, I've got a friend in a channel who I spoke to before the Blackburn game. Admitted that he watches our channel and that he watches our previews and he watched our David Cross interview and he watched your Mount Matty Rushmore stuff. So we know that these.
This is a former player we're talking about now, not a
former
current
players watch. We know they do. Have a good authority. I texted him, by the way, wished him Happy New Year. He said he might try and come down the pub at some point. So, my word.
Let me know. Keep me posted.
Oh, always. But yeah, like I say, I wasn't expecting David Moyes to, like I say, get home, put his feet up in the bath and watch Forged from Iron and go, fuck, that's where I'm going wrong. Of course, look, Duke from the Lewisham Tavern, he's now...
Bonnet de douche.
Right, tomorrow, that's what I've got to do, right. Phones up Deckers and goes, right, Deck, listen, the experiment's gone. No, Duke from Forged from Iron said, we've got to stop the experiment, and he knows his stuff. So, yeah, you all right with that? Fantastic. All right, we'll let him know. We'll show him tomorrow, yeah? All right, mate, cheers, bye. That doesn't happen. I'm not surprised that he's come out and said that. In fact, if he hadn't have come out and said it, I would have already known. So, for all of our blustering, Rob, and for all we do, it's only for the likes of you and me to get shit off our chest, talking to the 25 lovely people that are here with us. Those guys.
If I may.
Oh, yeah, hit the like button.
Hit the like button, guys. We've got 16 likes. Help us out.
This lot in the chat, they get it off of their chests by the comment section, etc., etc. So it really is only for us. It's kind of an ego thing, isn't it? I suppose, but I don't know. It's hard for me because I can see where we're going wrong as a club. I can see where we're going wrong on the pitch on a match-to-match basis. I can see it. We all can. I appreciate it. We can all see what's going on. But because we are... because we're just fans... it don't matter, does it? Do you see what I mean? So I mean, tomorrow will be a huge indication of what is to follow, as far as I'm concerned. And if he sets up exactly like you've written on your match, on your predicted 11, if he sets up like that, I might just switch off, and I might just go put my head in a good book, because unlike the book, if I read a new one, on the book, I don't know what the outcome's going to be. But watching West Ham, if he picks that 11 and goes with the same tactics, I know what the outcome's going to be. It just depends on how many we concede.
Do you have any faith that there will be a moment of epiphany that's occurred between the Brentford game and the game that will take place tomorrow, where he'll have that eureka moment, the light bulb will go, and he'll go,
none?
Or do you think it will be same old?
None whatsoever, Rob. Because you know what? He hasn't learned for a year. Because
poor old Charlie, who's in the chat, poor sod. Did you see? He's up at 4:30 tomorrow. He's making the trip up to Elland Road, poor sod.
Well, you know what? That being said, I don't envy you, Charlie, and also fucking idiot. But love you though. But can I just point out? Did anyone else see on Sky today? They interviewed a gentleman that travelled to Rio.
Not for Pele's funeral, really?
Pele's funeral. He flew out last night or yesterday. He's there for today. He's sleeping in the airport and he's coming back to either later today or tomorrow morning. Like, no disrespect, fuck that.
Must be
He's
a
just
big
spent
fan.
a few grand on tickets, on flights
Mm.
to go, and I'm just like, just we're probably as Paul. Rob. We're in a cost of living crisis.
Mm.
No one can afford to do anything apart from some guys that jump on a plane to Brazil for 12 hours to pay respects to Pele. I mean, I'm all right, thanks. I thought he was the best of the best, but no.
Fair. Looking at the form, Premier League and in all competitions for the respective teams tomorrow, Duke.
Love you, Charlie.
How can you possibly make a case for us getting
There isn't one.
anything?
There isn't one. There isn't one.
It's
The
pretty
only one.
depressing time to be a West Ham fan, isn't it?
Oh, mate, this. It's as depressing as it's been.
As
For,
depressing as what James has just brought up here. 2010 and 11 under
yeah,
Avram
that's
Grant.
what I mean.
Oh God.
It's the most depressing it's been in a fucking long time. You know, I'm really kind of struggling with where the positivity is going to come from, Rob. If after tomorrow there's no different colours on that form line, on the Premier League form line, I'm really struggling. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be like this, but I'm also at a point where I'm just about done with it all. I'm ready to write this season off and just not bother. I know that sounds really bad, and it doesn't sound like a West Ham fan should, but I am very, very much on the edge of just going. I've got nothing else to say on the matter because it's just so depressing.
Yeah, I wish I could.
I hate
Like I
it.
say, I wish I
hate
could
it.
sort of find a way of putting a case together and saying, this is the reason we're going to go up to Elland Road under the lights. I mean, listen, it's going to be a bloody hostile atmosphere under the lights at Elland Road. It's not going to be for the faint-hearted.
No, not
And
at all.
we need whoever takes to the pitch tomorrow to really roll up their sleeves and dig in. And unfortunately, on the basis of what I've seen thus far this season, who's going to do it? Who's going to stand up to be counted? Because if someone does it tomorrow, great. If someone manages to stand up and be counted and drag the team kicking and screaming over the finish line and get something out of it, whether it's a point and aligned with a sort of like a very creditable performance, or God forbid all three, my God. But then I'd be sort of like, yeah, great, but where the fuck have you been all season? Where have you been hiding?
I'll tell you what. I'm reading the comments and I've seen what where's it gone? I've seen what Kent says and I see what Mandy says about if you can't make a case for us to beat Leeds at the moment, Mandy. I can't even make a case for us to beat Forest the way we're playing.
There's always a chance, but
yeah, but I can. There's a difference between there's a chance, and then there's a difference between making a case. Okay, I can make a case for us beating Leeds tomorrow. I can make a case for us beating Leeds tomorrow by telling you that's what we should start. That's the formation we should start with. Tactically, we should be pressing higher than the halfway line and pinning them in. There's my case. There's me making a case for us beating them tomorrow. What I can't make a case of is him doing the same fucking thing as he's done for as long as he's done it, and us expecting to get something different out of it. I can't make a case for that because it's just delusional. It's idiotic. It's insanity. If we play in the same vein as we have done for the last 6 games, we will get battered. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. And I will be coming on here on Thursday night going, if we do. You know what? If we win, I will come on here full of zest, happiness, and whoop-de-doo basil. But
So your score prediction is,
can I
and
give you
guys in the
three?
we've already had James say he reckons it's going to be 2-1. So the rest of you
I've
jump
got
in.
three for you. I've got 1-0 Leeds, I've got 1-1, and I've got 3-1 West Ham. I just need to see how he lines up formationally and tactically tomorrow.
What's your gut feeling? Do you put it
Gut
this way?
feeling is
What I've put as what I suspected the formation and the 11 was. Do you think that there's a distinct possibility that I've got it bang on?
as in the formation. Yeah,
Formation and
okay.
personnel.
Formation and personnel, I'd say you're about 95% right. There's cases to be made for maybe Ben Rama not starting and Fornals being out there and
Mm.
Lanzini in the middle or some other absolute mix. Tell you what, Alex has just put an absolute banger in there. We've made the most crosses in the Premier
Mm.
League. I have an article on my phone. The most
How many of
crosses,
them were any good?
right, and we've scored from none.
Brilliant.
Whereas Palace have made the least,
Right.
which was something like 112,
Right.
and that's still less than we've made from our left hand side alone. And they've scored 4 goals from crosses,
Mm.
112, the least crosses in the Premier League, and they've scored from 4 of them. And we've made more than just 112 from our left hand side, and we haven't scored from a cross at all this season. In fact, we've only
Mm.
scored 12, so it'll be difficult to find out where they came from. Yeah, listen, if we set out to do tactically, formationally, then I have a feeling we're going to lose 1-0. If we see something different tactically tomorrow, even with the same formation, we could win. I mean, it just depends on where. Yeah, penalty, massive. It just depends on where we decide to defend from.
Mm. I think we're capable of winning on our day. I think. Look, I think we've got the players. You know, in terms of our personnel, I think that this is as strong a squad as I've seen assembled. It's just that for whatever reason, and I largely think it is down to the manager's tactics, it just isn't working. And as I say, I also do ask myself the question: has the relationship, because of what's gone on in behind closed doors? And Alex obviously references this Jacob Steinberg piece, which might shine a little bit of a light on what I'm saying. Is that has the relationship gone that bad between the players and the management that they just don't listen to the guy? They've got no respect for him, and they just basically are like, listen, if the results carry on going bad, you'll be off down the road, not us. That's
Well,
that's that's what happens in Premier League football, isn't it? Once the manager's lost the dressing room, that's it. There's no way back.
listen, Rob. If they weren't, if that was the case, and they go, no, we're not listening to him, they'd probably be playing better. So, although I think he's lost the dressing room, I just think a lot of it comes down to the fact that they just
Good
don't.
point, Gary.
Yeah, it's true. That's what I was laughing at earlier. I love it. Um, I actually will say if he sets up like I expect him to,
Hmm.
heart, no head, we'll lose 1-0.
Okay.
If he sets up like I want him to, and my heart of hearts, don't matter if it's formation, but tactically speaking, pressing, etc., I can see us winning 2-1, 3-1. But it just depends on how we come out. I'll be able to tell you from the moment we lose possession higher up the pitch in their half. I'll be able to tell you the second that we do so, because
Hmm.
everyone but Skamaka will go whoop back to the halfway line. I'll be able to tell you when they press into our half
Hmm.
where I'm sitting at, because we'll just let them keep walking onto us. Then I know where we're at. It all depends on those first two moments tomorrow. What happens when we lose the ball? What happens when they press us and get into our box? Until that moment in time, I honestly don't know. But I can hope. I can hope for a. I can hope for a 1-0 win. A 3-1 win. Fuck it.
I'm going to say, and again, I'm kind of contradicting myself because earlier I said I can't. I'm struggling to make a case for us, but you know what? I just think that maybe we're going to get a slice of luck tomorrow, and it's not going to be a big slice. But let's be honest. I'm going to take whatever I can get in this situation. I think if we can go there and get a 1-1 draw, I think that ain't a bad result in the grand scheme of things. Although, having said that, does it really help us? It might sort of instill a little bit more confidence because we've gone away to a hostile atmosphere. I don't know. Maybe I'm clutching at straws, but I don't know. I just think we're due a slice of luck, Duke.
Listen, I hate cliches. But you make your own luck, Rob. And
True.
for me,
Harder you work, the luckier you get, sort of thing.
yeah, you make your own luck. Just go out there and do. And um, until we can, I completely agree with Alex's comment. We can have the best centre backs in the world. Doesn't matter if you get molested out wide. And I said it before. If, like I say, we didn't need Paqueta. We had Benrahma, Fornals, Lanzini that could have done that role. That £55 million could have been spent on buying a left and a right back at 30 million quid each. Sorry, but that's where I'm at.
Don't disagree.
We were looking at, what was his name, the German fella,
David Raum.
We could have got him. He was interested. There's another one out there, but is it Baumgartner? He's another good player. Not being funny, we could have been in there from Manuel Akanji, right? I mentioned this, Rob, did I not? I mentioned this during our youth manager thing before the start of the season that Manuel Akanji was out of contract. I mean, seriously, easy, Hammer. There's a reason. It's the same as Sam Byram.
He does pick up injuries, doesn't he?
I'd like to see us go out and get a named left and right back. I know you don't. There aren't many names out there, but I'd love to see us go out and get a left and a right back of some significance. Even I'll tell you what is even again have a look at the Moroccan side. The guys that finished fourth.
Can I attack this one, James? When you say if we're still in the game, what 1-0 up, 1-0 down, 1-1? What are we talking? I guess it depends upon the situation. I'd really need, I'm dealing with incomplete information. But having said that, I'm just always of the opinion that attack is the best form of defence.
Yeah, said that.
If you get caught out at the back, so be it. But I'd rather lose it trying to win it than to lose it by trying to not lose it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mandy says it a bit further down. We needed the two fullbacks before a Paqueta signing. I said that's
Massively.
what I said. I agree with that. I said that. I also agree with Hammer 89 that the cure to our right back issue is sitting in the reserves, and his name is Harrison Ashby. If
Newcastle.
If you take a look at that,
3-0 now. Ooh.
Ashby is in my side there alongside Kara. It just doesn't. It's I'm there. I just can't. Give me Tedesco. If we do lose tomorrow, he can go. Tedesco would be my first choice, my instant choice. I'd have him in play before fucking Tuesday next week, and job done. That's where I'm at. But I don't see it happening. Fingers crossed for a win.
you see this thing that has been floating around? Do you see Declan Rice has come in for a little bit of stick from fans on, I think it was Instagram, and he bit.
Yeah, you know what? Right, as it was shared in our group yesterday, Rob. It was our West Ham Online put it on his Instagram, shared it on his Instagram, and 4-0. And I I noticed it, and then I believe it was Luke from is it West Ham Network? Luke's on West Ham, yeah, it
Yep,
is, isn't it?
yep,
West
yep.
Ham Network. Luke's on. He then shared it to our group. Now I agree with Deck. At the end of the day, I sorry, let me rephrase that. I
It's a
agree.
bit harsh, Alex.
Well, it's a bit much, but I like it.
It's a bit harsh.
Is Moyes got to be in the bath with it? I mean, there's the question. You've not made that clear.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I back Deck on this one, Rob. I
Yeah,
do back Deck on this. He's basically Geezer's turned around and he said about Deck throwing his arms up and all the rest of it. And Deck's come out and
that
explained why
wouldn't
he throws
surprise me,
his arms
Mandy.
up. He's not throwing his arms up at he's not throwing his arms up at his teammates, he's throwing his arms up at the decision, and he's basically turned around and told the poster not to assume anything.
Mm.
And Petey's coming for some backlash to add there. You know what? No, I make him right. He's human.
Mhm.
And if someone was digging me out personally, I'm going to stand there and say, "Oh, your fucking horses a minute!" Like, whoa, 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 whoa. As we've seen many times over the last 2 years of me doing this shit. There's a certain video that's not available.
There's someone in the live chat that might remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that was good times. We were relatively new to it, weren't we? Let's be honest. Oh, Burnley. Yeah, you stand up for yourself. And you've
Yeah.
got to be allowed to stand up for yourself, because if you don't stand up for yourself, then what are you? You know,
Mm.
at the end of the day, stand by your beliefs. I mean, James says it there. He's an easy scapegoat at present, and he is, because he's
Because
not
he's the
Mark
captain.
Noble. Well, he's not Mark Noble, Rob, and people are doing a bloody good job of reminding him of that right now, that
Mhm.
he's not Mark Noble. No, he's not. And he'll be the first one to tell you he's not Mark Noble. And I threw some criticism in Deck's direction. In
Mhm.
fact, several times over several games. The fact I don't feel like he defends his teammates to the referee. I don't think that he has a serious conversation with a referee. And do I see Declan Rice picking up a Man U player and telling him to get the fuck off the pitch because he's injured? No, I don't. You know, but that's not. You can't keep comparing him to Mark Noble. Apples and oranges come to mind,
Mm.
because at the end of the day, they are two different people. As James says, he's 23 years old.
I think
You
when
know,
Nobes became permanent club captain, he was about 28, 29, wasn't he?
yeah, exactly. See, so I mean, there's your issues. I think
And
probably
he's become a father quite recently for the first time. You don't know
we
how
miss.
that's affected the dynamic.
I think we miss Stuart Pearce. I think we miss
Agreed. I
Irvin.
think there's a lot of people we miss. I sort of thought about it. There was something that Kent put. I'm sure it was Kent put on his Facebook page, and he sort of said about Stuart Pearce, Alan Irvine, da 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 da. And I sort of thought, although they weren't getting much in terms of game time, in terms of their character, you look at Fredericks, you look at Yarmolenko, you look
Yeah, I
at
saw that.
Masuaku, you
Yeah,
look at Diop. All of them, I think, despite the fact, you could have the conversation about on the pitch, were they all that? Which is probably why they weren't getting much in the way of game time. But I do believe that from what I've been told about them in terms of their characteristics behind the scenes, I think they were good people to have around. Good characters. David Martin's another one. David Martin, I think, was a
yeah,
good character to have around the dressing room. Listen, he knew he was a training ground goalkeeper. He knew he weren't going to play,
but it didn't
but
bother him.
but he was perfectly fine with that. He was a good character to have around. And
Yeah,
we've shifted out a lot of people, and you look at a lot of the business we've done. A lot of them, like I say, our two main signings, Paquetá and Skamaka. Neither of them had ever kicked a football in Premier League, and we spent 80 odd million quid on the pair of them.
Yeah. What do you do, Rob? At the end of the day, listen. That's where I'm at. I'm speechless
Haven't
right now.
haven't heard that actually, James. I'll have to look into this. As I say, I'm going to try and gen up on the Jacob Stein. But as I say, I'd heard something about
I've got
the.
that open on mine at the minute. I'm gonna once we're done here, I am
Okay.
gonna have a. I'm gonna have a little
Ooh,
look.
4-0 Everton.
No,
Wow.
4-0 Brighton, Robert.
Sorry, yeah, 4-0 down. I mean, yeah. They're
Where
4-0
are
down. They're
Brighton
still
in the
above us,
league?
but we got a game. Now, this is a golden opportunity here, Duke. I'm not being funny. The players surely know what's going on. They'll look at the table, surely, and think, right, well, we've got a game in hand on Everton. We
Yeah,
win
that's
this,
correct.
we jump 2 points above them. And if we can get a goal or two into the bargain, whilst their goal difference is taking a bit of a hammering, we can sort of like repair ours, win a chicken dinner.
Yeah, I tell you, yeah, 200 reasons why we go. Yeah, exactly. And one of them's the fact that I don't fucking want him. If I may, mentioned a name the other day, Rob, when we were talking about Martinez as
Mm.
manager. Do you remember? And I mentioned Torgan Hazard.
Yes.
Now, dependent on Martinez's links and relationships and friendships with certain Belgian players,
Mm.
if he can get West Ham playing, would you not want Trossard in your team?
Do you see him leaving Brighton and coming to West Ham?
Depends.
I don't.
I don't see it, Rob.
Not at the moment, anyway.
But a right manager, and again, dependent on his relationship with Martinez,
Yep.
coming out of the Belgian manager's job,
Mm.
he gets West Ham sorted going into, if he comes in now and, cut the signings and everything else, there's nothing to say that couldn't happen in the summer. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I'd love that. I think he's a cracking player. In fact, I'd love to be playing the way fucking Potter got Brighton playing. To be honest with you, I'd love to be playing in the same way that Frank's got Brighton doing it. But I mean, it is what it is.
Mm. Shall we knock it on the head there, old chum?
Yeah, I'm very.
Unless there's anything else you want to
I thought
explore.
that Ken. I thought he would be as well. It was just something that went through my mind earlier that I could see. But yeah, I believe that. But same as McAllister. McAllister will make a £60 million move to Chelsea and sit on the bench. Yeah, tomorrow scares me. Tomorrow could be one of several final nails in the coffin, Rob. We really need to be doing something different tomorrow. As I said, we played against Brighton and we set up differently, but we tactically we were still the same. So it doesn't matter. There needs to be tactical changes tomorrow, not formation and not personnel. It needs to be, a mentality change tomorrow.
Agreed, 100%. And it needs to happen from the first minute for me. I need to see when that first whistle goes. I need to see that when we're out of possession, wallop players that got the ball and any of their teammates that are in close proximity, that they're all taken care of. They're all pressed. We got to, and we press as a unit. 3, 4, 5 players all go wallop as soon as they've got possession.
Not just
sort of meandering around. Yeah. No, it can't be because that's never going to work. It's never going to work.
Listen, you know this. I know this. People in the chat know this.
No good doing it from the 70th minute onwards. It's too late by then.
The only person that doesn't know this is the man that doesn't watch these channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we're going to knock it on the head there. But before you go, please don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you'll know when we're going live or any of the other good stuff that happens on the channel. And also, a message from our friends at Iron Supporting Food Bank, if you would be so kind. Forge from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Well, safe travels to those of you that are making the journey. I know that Charlie's making the journey. He's going up there with optimism, as I see from his last sentence. What can you do? What can you do?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons. And as Charlie says, we'll see you for the review. When are we doing that, old mate?
Be Thursday, isn't it?
What sort of time?
8, same sort of.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
See you then. Come on, you Irons.
Good night, people.